Hello, welcome back to my channel. In this episode I'll be discussing Rogue, an Australian horror film from 2007, written, produced and directed by Greg McClean of Wolf Creek fame, and starring Radha Mitchell as Kate, the owner-operator of a river tour boat, and Michael Vartan as Pete, an American tourist and travel writer, and Sam Worthington as Neil, a loathsome local scumbag, and Patch the Wonder Dog as Kevin, the most interesting and nuanced character in the film. This is yet another Aussie horror flick about a group of tourists being picked off by a large and relentless predator, and it follows mostly the same format. However, there are some notable differences. For starters, it's a much bigger budget affair than usual, with an estimated budget of around $26 million, and it shows. The film is glossy and slick throughout, with high production values and the overall feel of a respectably sized Hollywood product. Also, it has some named stars, ones that a few people might actually have heard of. Though neither Mitchell nor Vartan could reasonably be considered A-listers, Sam Worthington has a slightly more impressive resume, though it should be noted that all of his better-known work happened after Rogue. Of the three, only Radha Mitchell turns in a praiseworthy performance, managing to rise above the mediocre script to deliver a character that is likeable, believable, underplayed and sympathetic. Sam Worthington is, at first, wildly over the top as the annoying hooligan, giving a performance that lacks any subtlety or nuance, and then when his character is supposed to become more likeable and heroic, he achieves merely woodenness and a slightly tenser jaw. Similarly, Michael Vartan displays his limitations at every opportunity. He's one of the most limited actors I've ever seen, having literally only one facial expression, low-level concern, giving him two acting choices, mildly anxious or needing a poo. In this film, he mostly chooses the first one. So, our collection of expendable tourists sets off on their Crocodile River tour, and the whole thing is beautifully photographed by cinematographer Will Gibson, who gives us rich, vibrant colours and a crisp, clear image. And the crocodile bait passengers are introduced with reasonable economy. These opening scenes are perhaps the best first act of any of these type of films I've seen. It moves along swiftly, and I feel that I know just enough about these characters to decide who I care about and who deserves to be eaten. And the leisurely river tour also affords us the opportunity to listen to some really nice orchestral scoring by composer Frank Titaz, who really makes the most out of his string section. The music for this film is excellent throughout, with a highly hummable main theme, and then later in the film some truly terrifying crocodile attack cues, again heavy on the string section with excellent use of the cellos and upright basses. The tour ends and the group are just turning round to make their return trip when one of the tourists spots a distress flare, and so of course they head off to investigate, crossing unknowingly into the territory of a 25-foot killer crocodile. And here I must pause to heap praise upon the crocodile effects, because wisely following the example set by Jurassic Park, the computer-generated crocodile in this film is only seen in the dark, with wet skin and lit from a single direction by a harsh side or backlight. And also following the example of Jurassic Park, it's secondary to a live on-set animatronic crocodile, which fully sells the illusion. But perhaps most wisely of all, the filmmakers followed the example of Jaws and barely showed the crocodile at all. They saved it for the final showdown, and admittedly during the final showdown they overexposed their biggest asset just a little bit, but who can blame them? It's an extremely realistic crocodile. However, the overexposure did perhaps just slightly dilute the effect. But it was still very well done. Overall, this is definitely one of the better Killer Croc films, and it made good use of its considerable budget. It was also a big hit with the critics, although it did disastrously in the box office. Personally, I found it uneven. I felt that, for the most part, the filmmaking was superb, with excellent music, cinematography and effects. The script was nothing to write home about, and the directing was lacklustre, with many of the scenes in between action set pieces lagging as a result. I felt that the acting was terrible across the board, with only Radha Mitchell rising above the poorly written script. In all honesty, I can report that the standout performance in the whole film came from Patch the Wonder Dog, who acted everyone else off the screen, giving by far the most subtle and nuanced performance in a challenging role. He really understood his character. And on that note, I think I'll call it a day. Thank you very, very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I will see you next time. See you later.